The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining this live video. I open today for all the members of the EditWaveTrader.net. The subject of the presentation is what's the next Euro-USD trade opportunities. I have to note that I'm going to slightly exceed the subject announced and highlight my preferred Forex pairs I used to cover in the Forex service. So today we are going to review the charts in Dixie, the dollar index, euro, British pound, Japanese yen, Swiss franc, some of the minor pairs. Also, we'll take a look at the metals charts, meaning that the metals are Forex pairs, not futures I used to cover in the main room. And finally, I'm going to complete presentation with a review of some selected crypto charts I also cover in the Forex service. First of all, I hope that you can normally hear me and see the screen I'm sharing. In the case you have some questions, please use the question box provided by the software control panel. All the charts commented will be posted shortly after the live video in the main room, along with the recording of this presentation. So I hope that everyone who wish is already arrived. So let's get started. So if the subject of the presentation is the next opportunities in Euro-USD, then let me just remind you that the first call for 0.98 target region was posted approximately at this point in time and in price, approximately around 120 in October 2020. The charts were pointing slightly higher, where reversal was supposed to take place and bring euro towards 0.98118. Now today we came exactly to this target, and it's time to review possible alternatives, possible ramifications of the counts, and inform you about what we're going to see in coming weeks, months, or even years, and how we could benefit based upon all these charts. Meanwhile, I'm going to start not with the euro, but with the Dixie, the dollar index. The dollar index. The weekly count I was using as a primary is pointing to 108.22 region. That was the ideal target for the Circle 3 wave count. I was expecting that the rally will turn down approximately in this region. However, we're seeing this resistance region taken out relatively deep into possible target zone. Therefore, I had to elaborate possible alternatives, and I'm going to present some of them today. Please note that the resistance marked on this chart is 113.81. This chart is based upon the linear price scale, but in the case where we switch to the logarithmic price scale this way, then everything becomes much clearer. This resistance is based upon the logarithmic price scale projection, and I'm going to present you a dedicated wave count based upon the logarithmic price scale. But let's zoom in. First, we're probably going to top here or have topped already. The daily chart presents possible wave counts and details, and I wouldn't be surprised by extension towards 4618 extension, which is quite exotic, but it still could complete entire wave circle 3. I'm not going to predict that the rally is necessarily going to top here. However, I'm going to watch reaction to this resistance, which seems to be still in the cards. And now, possible micro counts. One of them suggests that wave 4 of the final wave 5 of the second 3 have just completed, and we're going to see further impulsive extension towards the next ideal target. However, in the case we pass through this resistance, the next target is the ideal 113.18, the target based upon the logarithmic price scale, but a little later. And finally, one of the counts suggests that we have really topped, and now Dixie is tracing initial waves 1, 2 to the downside. Below 110.1, below this resistance region, the top is in place scenario remains fully intact, and we are going to see 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is just an assumption as of now, and I'm going to see reaction to this resistance. As you can see, we're quite close. In the case we take out 110.79, then all the doubts are out. We're heading at least slightly higher. Slightly higher means 110.98 or 111.30. And above this region, 113.18. And now, a new counts I'm going to present for now. This count supposes slightly different wave subdivision, and this count suggests that we're in the heart of the third wave, or probably just have started the fifth wave of a large degree wave cycle 3, with ideal target at 114.21, 113.80. This count suggests 1, 2, 3 may have completed, and now we're in the wave 5 targeting to 113, 114 area. This count gives us initial clue. Above 104.64, we have no evident signals of a meaningful top is in place. Moreover, in the case we take out this resistance, the next target is 119.30. 119.30 is based upon the linear price scale. It means that in the case we take out this resistance, the next one is 119.20 or 30. It doesn't matter. So for now, the first clue. Above 104.64, we have no solid clues about topping of this rally, and the next target remains 114.21. I consider this count at least an equiprobable as compared to the count based upon the linear price scale. All my counts are marked as log or linear, so pretty clear, and everyone could determine what we're talking about. So right now, above 104.64, no solid evidence of the top in Dixie. More details for this count. Waves 1, 2, and 3 may be in place, and now we're tracing the fifth wave to the upside. Possible target zone. So the key resistance, possible targets, and initial signal line for the top is in place are announced, and I hope that this could help you in planning your next trade. And now we're switching to Euro. Again, I'm going to comment on the monthly and weekly charts, and then switch to daily and possibly micro scales. Right now, we have arrived exactly to the ideal target region announced in October 2020. This is the ideal target where the cycle A of a large degree wave B could complete. In the case the count is going to play out, and the bounce of the ideal target region will sustainably corrective, then we are most likely going to set up further decline, and the next target may be met at 0.75 or 0.80 area. It's right now it's premature to predict with relative confidence possible target, but it definitely is going to be lower than current region where I'm entering at. So for now, the key inflection point. So what if euro will stop here and resume dropping? Please note these blue ovals. These are potential targets for extension in the case 0.97 gets broken down. 0.98118 is the ideal target, and below 0.97 I'm going to switch to the alternative I'm going to present today. Let's zoom in. More details on the weekly chart, but the count is still the same. Potential target and potential target for the next decline. Not sure yet where we are going to drop next. The daily chart. The daily chart is showing that we may be bottoming here, and possible ramifications on the minor time scale show that we may have bottomed. This is the option 1 microlinear count, and we're going to see reaction to 0.99575. This is the target zone for expanded flat corrective bottom in the wave 2. Waves 1 and 2, and we are ready to extend much higher. But in the case we see a local corrective bounce or direct extension to the downside, then this count gets unlikely. Then I will be ready to switch to the option 2 microlinear count. Take a look at the daily again. This is the top of the wave 4, presumable top of the wave 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and the next drop is supposed to finally complete the 5th wave at the ideal target zone called much earlier. And now this is what the pattern may be looking like. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, then bounce in the B wave, and then drop to the ideal target. And this is the explanation for the 0.97 region. The next Fibonacci extension, where the 5th wave still makes some sense. The 5th wave count makes some sense. However, in the case we break below 0.97 region, then I'm going to switch to the next count. Take a look at this really terrible scenario that promises us much lower targets. It is based upon absolutely different interpretation of a large degree wave pattern. It means that we're going to complete expanding flat correction in a large degree wave B. And now we are in the heart of the wave 3 of this wave, C of B, and this count supposes much lower targets. Right now, we're at the key support, and this support makes sense for this count too, but in the case we only see a relatively shallow corrective bounce, the next target may be met at 0.89362. And now the next clue. In the case we're going to bottom here, my next signal level to the upside would be 106.35. This is the region which, once taken out, would certainly notice us about a meaningful low. The low based upon the larger degree count I'm tracking for primary. So-called A wave could complete here. But in the case we break below 0.97, then the next target is 0.89362 region. This is quite viable alternative in my opinion. At least we have the key signal line. Below 106.35, we have no solid evidence of a meaningful bottom has been already formed, and further decline remains on the table. However, in the case we take out 106.35, then we return to the option 1 monthly chart and see possible target for the wave circle B of a larger degree B wave. This target projection is preliminary. It shouldn't be taken as a high confidence, but it provides us with clear evidence that we have a really attractive trade opportunity. In the case we take out 106.35 level, the next target may be met at 121, roughly 122 region. Further extension to the upside could reach 1.36. Right now, we're at inflection point. Inflection point leave both sides of this market open. Therefore, I'm just going to warn you about opportunities opening here. First, opportunities for pattern unfolding, and then when we have much more clarity with aberrative count, then we could plan our trades with much more confidence. Any questions? I hope that audio and video quality is okay. Okay, I see no questions so far. So we're heading towards the major forex pairs. The first one is British pound. The weekly chart. We have invalidated the previous version of this large degree triangle. And right now I have two main scenarios. One of them is pointing directly down. It is marked red and presented in details on the option 3D chart. And it supposes that below 122.93 we still could extend directly to the downside and reach 0.9548 after a series of waves 3, 4, 3, 4. The second scenario suggests triangle, and finally, scenario I'm personally liking, as the simplest at the moment is A, B, and C up in the wave 4. At least this scenario would nicely match with immediate reversal in euro and the dollar index. This scenario supposes really minor extension to the ideal target at 112.76. Only decisive break below this support would open the door to the large degree decline on the option 3D chart. Right now, the option 2 counts are my operative scenarios, and the next target may be met at 112.76. Here is the count in details on the option 2 micro linear chart. I hope everything's clear with this pair, and we're switching to euro to the British pound. The count of a larger degree supposes really huge room to the upside, eventually to be filled by powerful wave circle C. But it's a multi-year or maybe multi-decade perspective. Right now, we're within one of possible scenarios suggesting lower targets in the wave 2. Switching to the option 2W chart, let me point out this resistance. Below 0.9125, I couldn't consider a meaningful bottom is in place. So for now, I'm favoring corrective rally scenario within this B wave or within wave 2. This is wave 2 scenario, and this is wave B scenario. Internal path within these scenarios is the same, and is presented on the option 1 and option 1 charts. One of these charts supposes extension towards 0.9056, and the second one supposes extension and topping at 0.8858. All the charts will be posted after the live video, so until 0.8536 is broken down, the next target is at least 0.8858. There we'll see what's the next price action. Again, in the case we take out 0.91 roughly, then we may find ourselves within the larger degree rally within the wave 3 of the cycle C. But I am personally favoring lower targets in the wave 2, regardless of internal wave count. Again, internal path for this corrective rally in wave B or wave 2 is the same for option 2D and option 1D counts. Japanese yen. This count projected on a logarithmic price scale is my primary. This count supposes stopping in the wave cycle 3. Again, this is nicely matching with the dollar index and bottoming in euro. Therefore, I'm going to favor this scenario until proven wrong. On the logarithmic price scale, we're going to see extension towards 14,631, 14,711 area, ideal target for the wave cycle 3. And in details, this count is looking that way. Until 13,820, pivot support region is broken down. This is my next target, and I would be very careful with the longs immediately and even right now, since truncation in the fifth wave is not very exotic when it comes to huge extensions like this. Again, take a look at this really huge extension within the wave 3. So minor truncation on the rally of a minor degree, or not a truncation, but missing the ideal target wouldn't surprise me at all. In the case this count is going to play out, the pair is going to turn down and drop really hard. To simplify potential assessment of what means really hard, please take a look at this potential target zone. Ideal target is 12,702 and minimum target is 13,361. Potential extension is 12,194. Euro to the Japanese yen. Possible count of a larger degree. First, this pair provides us with really overlapping, very messy and sloppy wave pattern, really hard to count. However, what I could derive up to this moment is presented on this chart. Wave C of the cycle B is very close to completion. Micro count for this wave scenario: 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, corrective pullback, and now 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 may be considered completed. 14,600 was the ideal target. We are not yet out of the woods, and the pair still could extend higher, but below 14,142, I will be able to consider we have a very meaningful high in place. In the case the pair has stopped, the next low may be met approximately at 10,950 region. Right now, this is not a high confidence scenario, but preliminary assessment of potential decline. Swiss franc. The count of a large degree for the United States dollar to the Swiss franc. A, B, and C. Wave A. Now we may have completed wave C of B, and seem to be completed also waves 1, 2 to the downside, considered to be a leading diagonal followed by corrective rally. More details for this scenario. Leading diagonal to the downside, expanded flat correction in the wave 2, and now we may be tracing 1, 2 within the wave 3 down. Minimum target for this scenario would be 0.8679. The count is valid below 10064. Alternative scenario suggesting slightly different wave subdivision for the wave 1 and respectively slightly different target for the wave cycle B. Euro to the Swiss franc. Projected on the logarithmic price scale, this count supposes extension towards 0.9298. Interim stop is 0.9472. And more details suggest that this microcount suggests that below 0.9746, the ideal target is 0.9291. In the case we take out this key resistance, that would be indication of a meaningful low is in place, and so far this scenario makes some sense. Until we took out to the downside the previous low, I would be very careful with shorts. Moreover, I am not yet sure that this count will necessarily play out. If we switch to the linear price scale, the ideal target resides slightly higher at 0.9312, 93.98. So 93.94 area could complete this count as well. So please be careful with shorts if you are going to play on the short side with this pair. Canadian dollar. Tough button to count. However, I did my best to present something that may be put in a basement of a trade, or at least to refrain from active trading. First of all, this count supposes extension towards 151.04, ideal target for the wave 5 of C, and this count suggests that we are already on the way higher within the wave 5 of C. I'm not yet sure that this count is going to play out, and this is what I see on the micro time scale. Waves 1 and 2 provide us with ideal coincidence with wave cycle 5 of C. 1, 2, then leading diagonal within the wave 3, and now we may be tracing corrective wave CF2. In the case we directly take out this key resistance, then wave 3 becomes my new preference. Again, given that we're going to top in the Dixie, the dollar index, this count seems to be somewhat missing somewhat, but we have what we have. We should count every chart on its own, regardless of possible correlations with other assets. So right now, I wouldn't be surprised by powerful extension to the upside. However, this is the alternate scenario, suggesting that we are tracing lower extension. Take a look at this target projection for different wave count. Wave A, then waves A, B, and C. And this count supposes extension towards 136.09. And this target could be all of the wave cycle B. This count supposes that we are tracing an ending diagonal to the upside, so sloppy, overlapping wave pattern going to top at 136. Right now, I have not solid arguments in favor of this scenario, as well as in favor of this one, extremely bullish one. So I personally going to stay away from active trading in Canadian dollar until we have solid indication of what we're dealing with. Any questions? I see no questions, so we're heading towards minor forex pairs and start with Australian dollar. Today I'm going to present Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, Mexican dollar, Turkish lira, and Chinese yuan. Australian dollar. The high may be in place. It means that entire wave E of 4 may have completed, and the pair is going to extend towards 0.6257, not a high confidence count. The second scenario supposes that we have bottomed at 0.6868 and now are completing wave 2 of 3 up. Both counts seem to be a low probability, therefore I'm going to watch reaction to the key signal lines, the previous low at 0.6697 and 0.6680. Above this level, this very bullish scenario remains intact. New Zealand dollar. Most likely we are going to extend lower towards the ideal target at 0.5740, or at least 57.86. Right now I see no convincing signs of coming low, but worth adding that the high oversold of the bought indicator based upon Bollinger Bands on RSI is going to form a local oversold indication. So I wouldn't be surprised by strong reaction to the next Fibonacci support at 0.59. In the case we see really decisive bounce out of this low, then that would be indication of a long-term bottom. However, this count is just one of possible scenarios. Take a look at this potential wave bottom. I mean this potential ending diagonal. One, two, three, 4, and then 5 towards the ideal target. And this count should be kept in mind, as I used to wait until the ideal target is reached, or at least extension towards this ideal target is solidly invalidated. For this pair, 0.6468 is the key signal line. Until this signal line is taken out, I wouldn't be surprised by extension towards this target. So that's it for the New Zealand dollar and Mexican peso. The previous version of this leading diagonal scenario has been invalidated, but now the pair has turned up decisively out of the marginal lower low printed yesterday. So far I'm going to maintain this count to the upside, but with absolutely no confidence. Potential extension towards the 18.91 region seems to be at least an equal probability scenario, as internal wave count, wave pattern for this decline is really quite messy. Turkish lira, very interesting pair. The pair has reached the double top region I consider as a meaningful high for entire wave A. And right now I wouldn't be surprised by immediate reversal and drop towards 918. More details for this scenario waves A, B, and C. However, in the case the pair takes out the previous high, that would mean that it has exceeded the ideal target for a corrective rally, and it means that we could extend much higher, let's say to 20.77, and that would be really surprising to those who are expecting reaction to the double top. Therefore, although I personally do expect reaction to the double top, I'm going to be very careful until we have clear impulsive 1-2 to the downside. Until that extension to the downside is seen, extension towards 2077 remains a viable scenario. And finally, Chinese yuan. Ideal target for this entire rally seems to be at 7.63. The count in details was presented early in the Forex service, and right now here it is on the weekly and daily charts. Right now the count has the pair in the ideal heart of the wave 3. Wave 3 or 3 or the zone 3. In the case this count is going to sustain, then the next target is 703 or 707 area. Then corrective pullback, and then series of waves 5, 4, 5, 4, 5. Until this pivot support is taken out, this pair is definitely looking really bullish. In the case we break below this support, I could reassess the pattern and consider it as 1, 2, 1, 2. So the next signal line to watch would be the previous low at 6.62178. Until this level is taken out, the pair is definitely looking bullish, regardless of internal wave count. But for aggressive traders, please watch this pivot support. Any questions? We have completed Forex bets for today and going to switch to metals. Again, this is not a futures chart. This is a chart for XAU to United States dollar. Metals used to be presented in many Forex services as a Forex pairs. This is an example of that presentation. Okay, gold. My primary count supposes that we are bottoming in the wave 4. The bottom may be in place, but we also may be tracing the circle wave 4. Until 1840 region is taken out, I could confidently consider gold bottomed. Please note that potential extension for the fourth wave is 1524 area. Let's zoom in. The most bullish wave count suggesting that we have bottomed in the wave 2 of possible wave 5 of 1 to the upside. It seems to be not much likely at the moment. At least I want to see a test of 1687.60 successfully passed. Then I want to see 5 waves extension towards this ideal target. But for now, what I really see as more likely is extension towards this key resistance presented on the option to micro chart. Above 1690 region, excuse me, this is wrong. Above 1687.60, this wave count remains fully intact, leading diagonal to the upside with the wave C of the circle 4. In the case we take out 1687.6 to the downside, then the ideal extension for this wave 5 could bring us to the ideal target at 1675. Take a look at the daily chart. This is the ideal 1.0 extension for entire wave 4. So, really marginal extension to the downside could complete entire correction, multi-year correction we are seeing. In the case we hold above this line, then the next target would be 1836, just below the key resistance where the bottom might be confirmed. Below 1840, gold still some work to the downside to complete. And please keep in mind that potential extension for the wave 4 is 1524, though I'm personally looking forward to reaction to 1675. Silver. Two variations of the count projected on the linear and on the logarithmic price scale, and both ones suppose slightly lower target for the wave 2, which is my preferred count for both projections. I'm personally favoring the logarithmic price scales for now. And here is possible path. Wave 3, 4, and 5 are supposed to reach, let's say, 1665 or 17 region. In the case we take out 21.9, roughly above 22 region, there would be a solid indication of a meaningful low maybe in place. But right now I'm favoring the lower target. What we see on a minor price scale, minor time scale, 1, 2, and now still maybe in the heart of the wave 3 of the circled CF4. Potential target is 21.21, and possible extension based upon different internal wave subdivision is presented on the linear scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 form a leading diagonal in the wave 1 of CF4. Again, I primarily anticipate topping below 22 region. Wave 4 is my primary scenario, and potential targets for the linear and logarithmic price scales are slightly different. 1529, 16 region is for linear chart, and 17 region is for logarithmic chart. In the case we directly take out of the downside 18.99, the entire wave count gets quite questionable. But that move would certainly make the case for immediate extension to a lower low, at least to a lower low. And again, in the case we break below 17, then 1665 is the next target where we can see silver bottom. That was it for metals, and finally, a few words about crypto pairs. In the case you follow cryptos, then Forex Service offers coverage of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Link, and Cardano on a regular basis. What I see in Bitcoin. The simplest wave count supposes the meaningful low has been already formed in the wave 2. This is what we see on the weekly chart projected on a logarithmic price scale. Waves 1, 2 of potential wave 3 up are already in place. We are going to immediately extend to the upside towards very frightening numbers. But so far, this count seems to be the least likely, in my humble opinion. Pretty simple. Below 30,000 region, I couldn't confidently consider Bitcoin bottomed. Possible options. The first one projected on the logarithmic price scale as well supposes slightly different wave subdivision, having 1, 2, 1, 2, not in place but in progress. This count supposes slightly lower extension in the wave 2. Take a look here, please. Waves A, B, and C of the wave 4, and then potential extension towards wave 5 of 1. Below 30,000 region, this wave 4 shouldn't be considered as completed. More details for this scenario. We have just reached the ideal target for the wave 2, above 18,560. Higher target remains on the table for the fourth wave, but below 30,000 region, this is just a correction and nothing else. And finally, the count projected on a linear price scale supposes that we are completing wave 2, but worth adding that ideal target for this wave 2 is 10 to 12,000 region. More details for this scenario. Above 18,560, possible extension in the fourth wave, still points higher, but below 30,000 region, no evident signs of a low. And finally, the red count, suggesting immediate extension towards the lower low in accordance with this red count. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Please be advised, this is quite possible, quite viable option. Just for you to know, this resistance has been announced approximately at the beginning of 2021, approximately at this spot, exactly in the same time when Euro was reported to be going towards 0.98. 65,000-75,000 area was reported as potential resistance, where we are going to turn down towards below 20,000. Now we're exactly at the place. At the times when this analysis was presented, it was looking really weird. But right now, I think everything is correct. So please be very careful with immediate massive bets on Bitcoin, as drop to 10 to 12,000 region is still a viable scenario. Below 30,000 region, we have no evident signals of a meaningful low. Moreover, in the case we take out beyond 30,000 region, please take a look at this red count. Waves A, B, and C within this red B could only set up further decline towards the same 10,000 area in accordance with this wave C count. So we have to see much more convincing impulsive extension to the upside, definitely breaking this red counterpart. For now, we have even no solid indication of a long-term bottom. So 30,000 region is initial border, holding Bitcoin in the relative bearish area. Ethereum. Also a few scenarios I'm going to watch. One of them suggesting that we're in corrective fourth wave supposes further extension towards 530 or at least 640 area. Below 2300 region, I couldn't consider Ethereum bottomed. Moreover, please note that this initial impulsive drop may be part of the wave 5 to the downside. Therefore, I have placed this alternative red fourth wave mark on the chart. More details. This count supposes that we're tracing corrective pullback within the wave C of B. But this count still leaves some questions. Initial move to the downside is pointing to 1413 region as the initial target on the way lower. If this region will be reached in 5 waves, then the next target would be reasonably projected towards 573 area. So far, I'm going to watch reaction to 1154 resistance, 1154 support region, where wave B could complete and initiate rally in the wave C of 4. But options are still on the table. Please note, below 1789, ideal target is at least 1154, projected on a linear price scale. Now let's move to the much more bullish scenario, suggesting that Ethereum has already bottomed at 883. More details. We're tracing corrective wave 2, which is supposed to trigger powerful rally towards 8,000 region next. Minor details. Here we see that we may be targeting towards 1094, roughly 1100 area. Ideal target for the wave 2, in my opinion. In the case we hold above this support, then we still have a chance to see much stronger rally. Break below 1075 and I could refuse this count with confidence. So please note that 1075 is a real line in the sand for this scenario. But until this region is broken down, Ethereum remains quite bullish. And finally, the third scenario I'm going to watch supposes corrective rally of the recent low. This scenario is also projected on a logarithmic price scale, suggests different wave subdivision, and supposes extension in the wave B before a drop in the wave C of the cycle 2 is going to unfold. 420 region is potential target, and this is the count in details: A, B, and C. Since this count is projected on a logarithmic price scale, it completely coincides with the option 2 micro log chart. Here it is in details with the same signal levels, but the next target may be met much lower than ideal 8,000 region. It is really high, but it is not that high as the most bullish scenarios promise right now. So we are not yet out of woods, and first of all, please mind 1075 support region. Above this region, Ethereum retains a local upside potential, at least a local upside potential. I mean this option for micro log count. In the case we take out 32, 3300 region, then we may be probably on the way to the ideal target at 8,000. But in the case we break below 1075, then the next target is 570. I hope that is quite clear. Now, link. I see no solid bullish scenario. Moreover, all I see is 1, 2 to the downside. At best, I could interpret that at waves 3, 4, and then 1, 2 to the downside. So below 9.502, this crypto pair remains bearish. Potential target is 3.4. Cardano. My favorite count is this option 2D, suggesting extension towards 0.30. More details. 1, 2, 3, triangle in the fourth wave, and now, until we take out 0.5948, the next target is 0.2971. More details for this count is presented on this option 2 micro. As for the possible bullish count, honestly, I have absolutely no faith in this scenario. Until we take out 0.5948, this mess promises to bring us much lower. So that was all for today. I hope that opportunities for Euro and Dixie were presented and properly understood. Major forex pairs, metals, cryptos were commented. I thank you all for joining this live video. All the charts commented will be posted shortly after the live video in the main room and in the Forex room to Forex subscribers. In a short while, I'll post the recording of this live video. And please know that I present similar presentations every other Wednesday in the Forex room. You are always welcome to post any questions regarding Forex, metals, and cryptos I have just presented as a reply to any of my posts in the main room or in the Forex, but requests on Forex charts and cryptos will be filled only in the Forex. Again, thank you for joining this live video. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.